The house enveloped itself in a heavy silence, a haunting echo of the recent farewell. Each corner weighed down by the echoes of a life that had quietly faded into the shadows. As I lingered at the dining table, my gaze fixated on the remnants of a half-finished cup of coffee, an overwhelming sense of disorientation enveloped me, deeper than I had ever imagined it could be. The heaviness of solitude enveloped me, a dense mist that clung to my very being, whispering secrets of longing and desire. Just when I believed the night would envelop me entirely, a gentle knock at the door stirred my senses. With a mix of uncertainty and intrigue, I slowly opened the door to reveal my son's best friend waiting on the other side. His gaze brimmed with an emotion that eluded my comprehension, a revelation that could alter the course of our lives forever. The instant my gaze fell upon him, an intoxicating thrill coursed through my veins. Michael, my son's best friend, appeared transformed beneath the soft glow of the porch light. He had transformed from the gangly youth who once plundered our refrigerator and dozed off in the living room after endless video game battles. Now he stood tall, broad-shouldered, his face etched with the gravity of a man who had traversed the depths of life and embraced its burdens. For a fleeting moment, silence enveloped us both. The night air lingered, charged with unspoken desires. Heavy with unspoken desires. "My heart aches for you," he finally whispered. His voice resonated with a depth and intensity that stirred memories long buried. I nodded, my voice lost in the weight of the moment. Grief had taken away so much from me, leaving a void that felt both heavy and haunting. My husband, the source of my laughter, the essence of my belonging, and now even the whisper of my voice. Michael shifted with a hint of nervous anticipation, cradling a small container in his hand as if it held secrets meant only for the two of them. "I have a little surprise for you," he said, extending his hand with a sly smile. A lovingly crafted casserole, made with care and a hint of indulgence. It was a gesture so subtle, yet so profound, that it broke through the delicate barriers I had carefully constructed within my heart. "Thank you," I murmured, parting the way for him to enter. The house enveloped him in an instant, as if it craved the warmth of life and the whispers of sound. He placed the casserole gently on the kitchen counter, his gaze lingering on me as he turned, a silent invitation hanging in the air between us. Worry danced in his eyes, a silent plea for understanding. "How are you managing through these times?" he inquired softly, his gaze delving into mine with an intensity that made me feel profoundly understood. Truly noticed for the first time in what feels like an eternity. I offered a strange smile, devoid of warmth. "Enduring," I whispered, my voice trembling with the weight of the unspoken. Michael paused, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face, before he surrendered to an impulse that surprised even him. His fingers brushed against mine, lingering with a weight that was both reassuring and electrifying, sending a shiver deep within my heart. I felt the urge to withdraw, to sink back into my private world of melancholy. Yet, a part of me held back, yearning for something more forbidden. I craved the intimacy. I craved a presence to awaken the pulse of my existence once more. "Would you like me to linger a while longer?" he inquired with a hint of bashfulness, as though he feared crossing an unspoken boundary. As I surveyed the vacant rooms, my gaze fell upon the photo frame clinging to the wall, and an overwhelming hush enveloped me, heavy and suffocating. Indeed, I mentioned earlier that I could easily lose myself in contemplation. Do indulge me. We stepped into the living room, a sanctuary that held an intoxicating blend of warmth and melancholy. Michael perched on the edge of the couch, his gaze lingering on me as I nestled into the opposite end, a throw blanket draped over my lap, creating an intimate cocoon between us. For a few moments we lingered in silence, the air thick with unspoken desires. The only sounds were the gentle hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the old house, settling into its secrets. It was peculiar how effortlessly he fit into my world, serving as a delicate connection between the life I had once known and the tantalizingly uncertain future that awaited us both. Our conversation began with the ordinary, as we exchanged thoughts on his new job and the transformations the neighborhood had undergone during his time at college. Then slowly the conversation delved into more profound depths. He inquired about my husband, probing into the depths of what I longed for the most. It was an innocent inquiry, yet it unleashed a torrent of emotions within me. I discovered the courage to share the secrets I had long held close, afraid that their burden might shatter me. I spoke of the hushed laughter that lingered in the stillness of the night, the serene mornings that unfolded like a secret, and the stolen glances that conveyed unspoken desires. Michael absorbed her words, allowing the silence to envelop them, refraining from any urge to mend what was broken. He absorbed every word, his focus so intense and unwavering that it sent a delightful shiver through my heart. And then, when I found myself at a loss for words, he leaned in closer and whispered, "You are permitted to long for him while still yearning for someone else." The confession struck me with an intensity that was almost overwhelming, forcing me to shut my eyes for a fleeting moment, seeking solace in the depths of my own thoughts. I opened my eyes to discover him nearer than ever, an intoxicating proximity that sent shivers down my spine. His face cloaked in mystery, yet his eyes sparkled with an undeniable allure. In their gaze, there was no trace of pity, only a profound understanding, a silent, intimate promise of solace that lingered in the air between them. In that fleeting instant, I found myself teetering on the brink of a perilous yet exquisite allure. Something that holds the power to mend my soul or plunge me deeper into darkness. My heart raced within me, a mix of hesitation and an undeniable yearning. It had been an eternity since someone had gazed at me with such longing, as if I were desired, not merely overlooked. My breath hitched in my throat. Could sense the charged tension lingering in the intimate distance that separated us. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, I found myself contemplating the possibility that moving forward might not necessitate leaving behind the cherished memories of the past. What if it could signify discovering something fresh, something gentle and restorative amidst the remnants of what once was? Michael must have sensed the shift in my gaze, for he offered a slow, tentative smile, one that held within it 1,000 unvoiced promises, each more tantalizing than the last. My heart quickened. Uncertainty enveloped the night, leaving me to wonder where it might lead us. Yet in that moment fear eluded me. I was awakened, and I was eager to embrace the sensations once more. Michael shifted ever so slightly, his knee grazing mine, and the unexpected touch sent a shiver through me, catching my breath in a tantalizing gasp. It would have been so simple to turn away, to build a wall and act as if that fleeting moment had never graced us, yet I chose not to. I lingered in that moment, savoring the warmth where his skin brushed against mine, allowing it to fill the empty, shadowy corners of my being. His gaze lingered on mine, a silent invitation wrapped in the tension of unspoken desires, offering me every chance to withdraw, every opportunity to refuse. Yet I remained frozen in place, my heart racing with a fervor that drowned out any words I might have uttered. In a moment of unguarded impulse, I found my fingers brushing against his, gently intertwining as if drawn by an unseen force. His hand exuded warmth and strength, its slight roughness a tantalizing contrast to the quivering uncertainty that stirred within me. He responded by turning his palm upward, our fingers entwining in a delicate dance of intimacy. The gesture, so simple yet profoundly intimate, stirred a deep emotion within me, tightening my throat as if it held the weight of unspoken desires. It had slipped from my memory, the sensation of being caressed in such an intimate way. Not from a sense of obligation or duty, but from a deep, heartfelt desire to be truly present and engaged. Michael leaned in, closing the gap that lingered between us, a charged tension hanging in the air. His hand rose slowly with a hint of uncertainty, as he tucked a wayward strand of hair behind my ear. His fingertips brushed against my skin, igniting a shiver that coursed through me, awakening desires I dared not speak of. For an extended moment, he held my gaze, his eyes laden with unspoken desires. "You possess an exquisite beauty," he murmured softly, his voice laced with longing. His voice carried a hint of something that felt tantalizingly close to reverence. It had been ages since someone had spoken to me with such genuine, unrestrained honesty. I felt the tears prick at the corners of my eyes, yet I held them back, determined not to let them spill over. Instead, I surrendered to his touch, allowing his hand to gently cradle my cheek. All that existed was the intoxicating embrace of the moment. The sorrow, the solitude, and the relentless stream of hollow sympathies faded away, leaving just this moment, him and me entwined in the tantalizing ache of what could be. He edged nearer, and I felt the warmth of his breath tantalizingly close to my lips. In that moment, time seemed to stretch, a delicate tension hanging in the air, as though he was offering me a last chance to retreat. Yet deep within I craved none of it. I bridged the gap, my lips softly meeting his in a lingering embrace. The kiss began gently, a hesitant brush of lips, as if we were both wary of the possibility that the other might retreat into the shadows of uncertainty. But when I tilted my head to deepen the connection, he responded with a fervor that made my heart flutter with an intoxicating thrill. His arms enveloped me, drawing me close, and in that moment, I experienced a profound sense of being cherished, as if the world outside had faded away. The kiss deepened, a fervent dance of longing, as if we were both desperate to reclaim moments that had slipped away from us. My hand glided up his chest, savoring the powerful warmth that lay beneath his shirt. The undeniable presence of him anchored me, revealing a depth of longing I had not known I craved so intensely. He drew back slightly, his gaze locking onto mine, probing for any hint of remorse. Yet, what he would have discovered was an aching desire, a profound and irresistible longing to awaken once more, to be desired, to be truly noticed. "Do you truly believe that?" he inquired, his voice a sultry whisper, laced with an alluring edge. I nodded, my voice lost in the depths of my desire, and that was all the invitation he craved. He rose, his hand wrapping around mine as he guided me softly to my feet, leading me toward the staircase with an air of unspoken promise. Each step was laden with a thrilling sense of expectation. Each stolen glance between us brims with unvoiced desires. As we stepped into my bedroom, a shiver coursed through my hands, not from fear, but from the intoxicating anticipation of the moment that lay ahead. Michael approached the task with a delicate touch, his movements imbued with a sense of reverence as he assisted me in shedding my cardigan. His fingers glided over my skin, igniting a warmth that lingered long after they had passed. His lips brushed against the delicate hollow of my throat, tracing the gentle curve of my shoulder, lingering as though he wished to relish every exquisite inch of my being. I mirrored his actions, my fingers gliding through his hair, tracing the firm contours of his back, sensing the tension and release of his muscles beneath my caress. As he gently placed me on the bed, a wave of tenderness washed over me, stirring emotions that made my heart ache with longing. He lingered above me for a heartbeat, his gaze savoring every inch of my being as if etching each detail into his memory. "You are simply extraordinary," he whispered, his voice laced with an intoxicating allure. His voice, laced with a captivating allure, drew me in, making me surrender to the enchantment of the moment, if only for tonight. Our garments slipped away one by one, in a languid dance of desire. Each piece cast aside, a release from the weight of past lives and lingering heartache. His touch was not the clumsy enthusiasm of a novice but rather a profound, aching tenderness that caressed every inch of my being, ensuring that no part of me remained untouched or uncherished. Each kiss, each tender caress, every softly spoken word detonated the buried wounds I had concealed for an eternity. The chemistry that sparked between us was undeniably intoxicating. Yet it was the profound connection that unraveled my very being. His gaze lingered in my eyes, unwavering and intense, as if the world around us had faded into oblivion. He had a way of making me feel whole, as if I were a treasure to be adored rather than a mere shadow of my former self. Our bodies entwined in a dance as ancient as the stars, each movement whispering secrets of desire and longing. A languid, intoxicating dance that swelled and enveloped us, drawing us deeper into its embrace. When I finally whispered his name, it was more than mere release that coursed through me. It was a renaissance of the soul. It was the rediscovery of a fragment of my soul I had believed was gone for eternity. In the aftermath, we found ourselves entwined, our breaths gradually synchronizing in the quiet intimacy of the moment. The room was enveloped in a gentle, golden hush, a moment suspended in time. Michael's fingers glided over my arm, a slow and gentle caress that sent shivers down my spine. With a hint of hesitation, I nestled my head against his chest, savoring the warmth and intimacy that enveloped us. Feeling the rhythmic pulse of his heart against my ear, a secret melody that binds us in an intimate embrace. For once, I felt a lightness in my heart, as if the shadows of solitude had momentarily lifted, allowing a warmth to envelop me. Instead, I felt a deep warmth, a grounding embrace that enveloped me completely. He brushed his lips against the crown of my head, his voice a soft murmur, "You are not alone anymore." I surrendered to the intoxicating embrace of those words, allowing their truth to envelop me completely. In the fleeting hours of one night, Michael unveiled the myriad faces of love, revealing that even amidst the chaos and intricacies of healing, hope still lingered in the shadows. In the depths of my sorrow, I lingered too long on the shadows of what once was, allowing the flicker of hope for what might still be to fade into the background. Enveloped in his embrace, I surrendered to the notion that life still harbored unforeseen beauty, despite the shadows of past heartaches. And perhaps, just perhaps, I was prepared to seek it once more. The morning light seeped gently into the room, illuminating the disheveled sheets and the lingering heat of the previous night's embrace. I stirred slightly, caught between the hope of waking up beside someone and the familiar ache of solitude that had woven itself into my life. Yet Michael remained close, his arm enveloping me in a tender embrace, his breath a soothing rhythm against my hair. In that fleeting moment, I surrendered to the warmth of that embrace, letting go of all questions and doubts, and simply indulging in the intoxicating sensation of being. Yet even as I melted into his embrace, my thoughts began to spiral in a restless dance. Reality, as it often does, insisted on being faced. I was older, marked by the scars of a life rich with experiences that he could never fully grasp. What we experienced together last night was nothing short of exquisite. Indeed, it feels almost divine. Yet, could it endure beyond the delicate sanctuary we had woven together in the shadows? Fear seeped in gradually, a silent invader, chilling the tender spaces of my heart with a haunting doubt. Michael stirred, his awareness of my tension palpable as his fingers glided softly down my arm. "A penny for your thoughts," he murmured, his voice heavy with the remnants of slumber, inviting her into a world where secrets danced just beneath the surface. I smiled wistfully, my fingers dancing softly across the contours of his chest. How could I confess to him the fear that gripped my heart? No matter how gentle his touch, a part of me remained convinced that this was but a fleeting moment, a captivating fantasy destined to be exposed by the harsh light of day. I found myself reflecting, my voice barely above a whisper as I selected my words with intention, that the events of last night seemed almost too exquisite to have truly happened. Michael cupped my chin delicately, compelling me to gaze into his eyes. In that moment, there was an undeniable clarity, a boldness that left no room for doubt, only a profound and earnest devotion. It was undeniably real, he asserted with a passionate intensity. With each passing moment, lingering uncertainties whisper in my ear. What would they say if they discovered the truth? Would they perceive me as yearning, a soul adrift, grasping at a momentary caress to quell the ache of solitude? Would Michael someday awaken, gaze upon me with newfound clarity, and come to understand that he was worthy of someone more youthful, less entangled in the complexities of life? I wrapped the blanket around me, seeking solace as if it could protect my heart from the impending ache that lingered in the air. Feeling the change within me, Michael leaned up a bit, supporting himself on one elbow, his gaze intense and searching. "You're lost in your thoughts once more," he remarked, a soft smile playing on his lips. "In moments of fear, that's when you find yourself acting in unexpected ways." I blinked, taken aback by the effortless way he seemed to see right through me. "Perhaps fear lingers within me," I confessed. "You possess a youthful spirit. Your entire future lies before you, filled with endless possibilities. I long to be a cherished memory, not a fleeting regret in your heart." His expression turned tender as he gently cradled my cheek in his hand. "You are not a mistake," he murmured, his thumb gently sweeping away a tear I hadn't even noticed had escaped my eye. "Your courage and beauty leave me in awe, captivating my heart in ways I never thought possible. Last night was an exploration of desires, a dance between longing and connection. It was about discovering a connection that felt genuine and profound. I yearned to trust him. Oh, how I longed to surrender to his words. Yet, in the stillness of the night, old wounds would softly murmur deceit, weaving shadows into the fabric of our thoughts. I pressed my cheek against his palm, savoring the heat radiating from him, attempting to silence the whispers of uncertainty that lingered within me. "What unfolds next?" I murmured softly. As the outside world looms closer, threatening to intrude upon our secluded sanctuary, Michael paused, a flicker of uncertainty dancing in his eyes, as he measured the weight of his next confession. "I don't possess all the answers," he confessed, a hint of vulnerability in his voice. "Yet I am acutely aware of the depth of my emotions and I refuse to turn my back on what we share." His words enveloped me, a gentle explosion that calmed yet could not dispel the lingering ache of doubt. As we adorned ourselves and navigated the familiar rhythms of the morning, a palpable tension hung in the air, unacknowledged yet undeniably present between us. Each fleeting touch of his hand and every prolonged gaze held an electric tension, a silent acknowledgement that an unspoken bond had deepened between us. We had transcended the realm of mere companionship, entwined in a connection that felt both profound and forbidden. We found ourselves bound together, a connection that both thrilled and terrified me in equal measure. The unexpected knock at the door sent a shiver down our spines, a moment suspended in time, charged with unspoken desires. Michael's gaze met mine, a wordless question lingering between us, inviting me to decide if I wished for him to respond. I gently shook my head, slipping into my sweater while delicately smoothing my hair, a subtle dance of anticipation lingering in the air. Whoever it may be, their impatience could linger a little longer. I required a fleeting pause to compose my thoughts, to determine just how much of the enchanting allure from the night before I was prepared to unveil to the outside world. Yet, beneath the surface, I understood that the true struggle lay not in the judgments of those around me. It defied the very essence of my own trepidation. Apprehension of exposing one's heart once more. A trepidation that lingers, a hesitation to embrace the possibility of desire. The trepidation of unveiling my heart to a passion that dances just beyond my grasp. Michael approached from behind, his arms encircling my waist as he leaned in, his chin gently resting on my shoulder. "Whatever unfolds from here," he murmured softly. We confronted side by side. His words, though uncomplicated, bore the heavy essence of a promise I had longed for without fully understanding the depth of my desire. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, I surrendered to that alluring promise, allowing myself to embrace the thrill of the unknown. I allowed myself to embrace not the fantasies of fairy tales or flawless conclusions, but the beautifully chaotic potential of something genuine, something that ignites a fire worth pursuing. And perhaps, just perhaps, that was all we truly needed. The days that ensued were fraught with challenges, yet they held an undeniable authenticity. In the stillness of the night, doubts lingered like shadows, whispering whether this delicate bond we shared could endure beyond that fleeting moment. Yet Michael remained steadfast. As I hesitated, gripped by uncertainty, he gently drew me back with unwavering patience. In moments of uncertainty, his gentle gestures and unwavering words whispered to me that love often unfolds in ways we never anticipate. At times, it arrives softly, weaving its way through the fissures of a shattered heart, taking root with an enchanting resilience that defies all expectations. Our bond remained a cherished secret, relishing the fleeting instances that belonged solely to us. The lingering gazes from across the room, the discreet caresses, the whispered exchanges in the quiet of night that mended the fractured pieces of our souls. There were challenges, undeniably, yet we faced them together, hand in hand, aware that our connection was far from flawless, but it was genuine and real. Michael always embraced me, never allowing me to feel like an inconvenience or a misstep in his life. He awakened a sense of being truly cherished, not in spite of my imperfections, but rather because they told a story of resilience and depth. One evening, as the sun sank low, casting a warm golden hue over everything, Michael intertwined his fingers with mine and whispered, "You saved me too." A bittersweet smile graced my lips as tears threatened to spill, a revelation dawning upon me that perhaps this journey transcended mere healing of past scars. Perhaps it was about crafting a new reality, one that neither of us had ever dared to envision, yet both of us craved something deeper than we had ever experienced.